You know what freedom actually is? Freedom is our capacity to solve all of our own problems. Any one of those problems you can't solve for yourself is to the degree you aren't free. Then you need to find out how to solve that problem. When you can do that, you don't need to ask permission from any man, woman, or child.
Sigmas. There's a very definite route to becoming a man of purpose. And the first part of that is cremation of care. To set fire to all of the values that this world has taught you to have that don't serve you, you have to go inside. And there's a period you just have to cut yourself off from the world and not care. You've got to go inside for the shadow work. All of those demons that we keep in the basement have got to be exorcised. All of those boundaries that society has given us that don't serve us, we have to erase them and eradicate that thinking from our minds. Remember, sometimes we're fighting 15 to 20 years of programming that we believed to be an education at the time. So what did? We adopted it. Some of us adopted it, mastered it, and became the head of the class. The problem is with that, the more educated we believed we were, the more programmed we actually are. And that just means that there's so much more to get rid of. Sometimes it's so embedded in our DNA that it gives us palpitations every time we think about doing the opposite. Every time we think about going outside the coloring lines. And if you think about the ants that you saw on the piece of paper that they drew around with a felt tip, and every time they touched the ink, the ants didn't want to go beyond the felt tip. This is where we are with our thinking. We're imprisoned in nothing but a virtual jail. And is why the 1% have what they have, and is why we have what we have. Take 30 seconds. Look around you right now. I mean, literally, like, look around the room that you're in right now, based on what you've accomplished, and ask yourself, how much are you in your own way? See, it sounds very radical when I say you've got to come out of the world and go inside. But quite literally, this is what you need to do. There is no other way. There's a reason a lot of people hit their own enlightenment during COVID. It's because they were inside. And a lot of those guys who were inside decided to go right inside. Studying, got more into spiritual practice, more into meditation. And because you take that time out of the world, it really does impact on not only who you are, but your own self-reflection. Self-reflection that some of us avoid for years. So now what you start to do is you start to come up across that guy that everybody was complaining about, and you'd say, you experience this thing everywhere you go. But what did all those people have in common? You, just like me. So the same kind of complaints I'd hear from family, friends, my son, I had to observe, didn't I? And that was the final process in me eliminating them, because we weren't friends. If I'm in my own way, I'm in my own way, and it doesn't serve me. And I don't want to pretend that I'm anything else other than in my own way. And this is where you are right now. This is the realization you need to come to. All of those things that you think are part of the fabric of the DNA of who you are that don't serve you have to go. The first thing about Sigmas is we are all about self-preservation. And self-preservation wouldn't allow us to be in our way at any stage or juncture of our lives. So, you know, when we actually come across it and we identify it, we have to do something about that. So now, think about the most repetitive complaints your people have had about you. Is it that you interrupt incessantly? Is it that you sabotage at the final hurdle of just going past the precipice when you should be able to accomplish something? Are you too distracted? Do you use your vices to betray yourself? Women, drink, drugs, or gambling. All of these things have to be looked at. And the key that we are looking for is to annihilate them. And not only do we have to annihilate all of those vices that don't work for us, but we also have to set fire to how much we care about what people think of us. I'm a man of reputation. None of it means anything. Your greatest superpower is not giving a damn what anybody thinks about you. There's a stage that you're going to come to where public opinion means sweet FA, because it's only another jail. You know, there's things you'll do when you don't care what anybody thinks about you that you won't when you're tethered to human monkey chatter and opinion. Just like that ink that surrounds the ants on the page that you won't go beyond. So let's say that you're in need. You don't have all your resources, but you won't ask right now, or you won't ask a particular person for the thing that is going to set you past your current hurdles. Why? Because you're too concerned about what people think. You're too concerned about reputation. There's only one reason we're here, is to win. And make you know this, winning doesn't have to look pretty. You know, we do the pretty thing and we tread and we want the flowers and the movie score behind our cell when we're in motion. Winning doesn't have to look pretty. Do you know how I do everything so quickly these days? I gain relationships, I solidify relationships. I then get a full impact out of those relationships because I don't care what people think of me. And it's not to say that the people I'm creating or working in relationships with shouldn't care. I shouldn't care what they're thinking about. But what I can't do is be tethered to the human monkey chatter of my ego that makes them think I'm somewhere where I'm not, that I don't have a need that I do, that I have everything together where I'm lacking. I don't have that anymore. I don't care. If I'm on my face, I'm on my face. If I'm moving slowly, I'm moving slowly. If something is going on in my domestic life, I let people know. Do you know why? Because they may be able to help. Where before, I was hindering myself because people are going to look at me crazy. Why are you moving like that? Or why can't we do this? So this isn't just me. I know it can't just apply to me because I am an anomaly in many things, but being a human being with human experiences isn't one of them. So we need to get beyond our pride. We need to get beyond our shame. Is really let's dig in the topic of shame. We have historic memories of being shamed for our emotions, for lack of finances, for not being smart enough, not being articulate enough. These are all the things that hinder us, that become the huge barriers to entry. Things that we think we're hiding, we're not hiding, it's seen. And when I say it's seen, it's not seen by the great unwashed. It's seen by the people at a particular level, because that spiritual component of them wouldn't allow all of those red flags to go under the wire. So they see it. And then you think, why aren't I in specific rooms? Because we all feel that we deserve and we're entitled to be in these rooms, right? But the thing that's holding us back is that we cannot just be nakedly who we are. And when we can't be nakedly who we are, there's something wrong. And it's seen. It's seen at those senior levels. It's seen at those tertiary levels. And when you get to a particular juncture of your life, you're only interested in going through the doors that are held at a tertiary level. Everything else just pales into insignificance. All this is just benign hyperbole that is going on at the levels below that. We are being salted in our experience when we go inside to meet all of our demons, to exercise those demons. What's acknowledged gets dealt with. It's like sweeping dirt under the carpet, you know, it hides it for a minute. And then you imagine doing that for 2 years, the amount of filth that's underneath there. We have that here and here, and we've got to get rid of it. And there's only one way to get rid of it. There's no elevator to this route. You got to take the stairs. And, you know, you ever walked up the 400 steps on the London Underground or run up them, your thighs hurt by the time you get to the top. But you know what, the next day, your thighs are stronger. It's exactly the same. There's no way to get to the destination that you desire, which is the greater you, all this money that you want. It's not that you can't make the money, it's sustaining the money. Because there may be desires that you have for things that just don't matter, that were all about the human monkey chatter going on in your subconscious mind. And that was all about what people think. Doesn't matter. They are largely irrelevant. These are things that we have of value purely because we were programmed. We were programmed with trained monkey chatter that doesn't serve us. But those who programmed us know exactly how it works. They don't care. Let's take, for instance, let me give you the greatest avatar. Look at Boris Johnson. One of my brothers was at a union meeting and Boris Johnson was about to go. He was, close the door. Chap ruffled his hair. Now I'm ready. Do you know why? Because he prepared them for the buffoon. And the reason he prepared them for the buffoon is because then you just lower expectation. So when you come out with your party political manifesto, get Brexit done. What's the expectation? Nothing. Boris doesn't care what you think of him, though. So he got caught in the middle of a zip line, looking like a clown. Pig in a hammock. No problem. He don't care. He wasn't prime minister yet. He gets caught lying. I've got COVID. Take mercy on me. He doesn't care what you think of him. He doesn't care when all that comes out. Do you know why? Because he won. He became prime minister. And in his tenure as prime minister, he set deals for himself and his peers that have given his God knows how many children generational wealth. Doesn't matter how well you think someone is doing, they could always do better. And what that man displayed by not caring what anybody thinks of him, Dawn Butler called him a liar in the House of Commons, and he wrote it, and she got kicked out. So think about all the shame and self-disgust that you've had that has blocked your blessings and opportunities. And this is why I'm introducing you to the master key of shadow work and going inside. And it's the Hove line that you will hear me spout for perpetuity. Until you're by yourself, you can't be me. Until you're by yourself, you can't be free. How are we still going to be slaves in 2016? You must be comfortable by yourself. And if you think you're going to become any kind of public figure on this plinth and you're not going to get attacked, you're sorely mistaken. So what we seek to do is remove all of our vulnerabilities, every single last one of them, so that when we emerge to operate on this floor at the highest level, we are impenetrable. Gossip, attack, barriers and hurdles that we used to have, it's all gone. And then you see just how fast your trajectory towards what you want to accomplish takes place. It's meteoric. If I don't convey the importance of going inside enough, look at a Jay-Z who isn't supposed to exist. Look at these guys who come from the worst of circumstances to the naked eye, who I know frame absolute tunnel vision towards their purpose and accomplish it because there's nothing else in their minds. Not the human monkey chatter, not the opinion, not the hurdles. In fact, it's great to be underestimated, and that again is a superpower that they have. But what they're doing all the while, sharpening their minds, putting themselves next to people of experience who might be intentionally or unintentionally mentoring them. Either way, a Sigma is going to pick it up. And when they pick it up, they're going to apply it. This is what I want for you. This is what I want for you to adopt at the most powerful level, to understand who you are. There is nothing and nobody in your way, just like a chessboard. Racism, That exists for the great unwashed. And it exists because it's a program. It's a program for those who carry out racism, and it's a program for those who say, I am here to receive racism. You can't inflict racism on me because I solve all of my own problems. You understand? And if there's a problem I can't solve, I'm going to downsize, collapse that space between me and what the problem is, and I'm going to remove all obstacles in my way so that now I can solve that problem. And if it means me having to sacrifice things, I'll do that. Because my greatest superpower is freedom. And after all that, I want you to ask the question, are you anywhere near free? Psychologically, spiritually, socially, materially? None of the above. And the reason you're not anywhere near free is fear. Go inside, go in the basement, shake it up, open every single drawer, exercise every single demon, everything that has come up for you your whole life, because we're going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of it through a process. We're going to get rid of it through workbooks and a structured process to free you psychologically, spiritually, and materially. And when you reach that space, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, because there's a period where it seems insurmountable. All demons can be exorcised when you take back retention of your natural mind. And you have to eliminate certain values that you've gained that don't serve you. This is all part of the exercising of those demons that we call shadow work. And when you do that, when you face your shame, when you face your self-loathing, when you face the disgust, where some people have imposter syndrome or any of these kind of concepts, you become the man that you've always desired to be. And when you hit that state, you're fit to begin the first day of your actual purpose. And it will happen so quickly for you, in conjunction with all these other elements, like spiritual elevation, that you couldn't imagine it happening like that in your wildest dreams based on your experience.
As Sigmas, we uphold, promote, and preserve our values.